Okay, without further ado, I welcome you all. And we thank you so much for gathering. And we've got this wonderful lady with us today, um, Sille-Liis Männik. She's a volunteer and board member in EA Estonia and current team leader at Anneta Targalt, a local effective giving platform. Sille is also a first-year PhD student and junior research fellow at the University of Tartu, Institute of Psychology. Today, Sille will be talking to us about launching a fundraising platform quickly in reference to Anneta Targalt. And I know, like, while the talk, would be going on, we might have lots of questions in mind and lots of queries. So there are three ways we are doing Q&A today. One is through swap cards, so you can just go to the swap card of the event and just pop in your questions there, and you can also keep polling for the questions. So whichever questions will have more votes, we can sort of prioritize them if we're running out of time. The other way is live Q&A at the end of the talk if we have like few minutes remaining. And the last way is Sille would be available from 2 to 2:30 p.m., which is exactly after the talk, half an hour after the talk, downstairs in Colonnade. She'd be sitting there answering any of your questions if you have any, or even discuss anything if you'd like to discuss anything with her. So that's it for us. Thank you so much for coming and taking out your time. And over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you for this introduction. Hi, everyone. Really excited to be standing in front of you here today to talk about the story of Anneta Targalt and how it came to be. So Anneta Targalt is an effective fundraising platform in Estonia that was built by using the similar websites of GiveWell, Doner Effective, and Effective Spenden, and there's versions of that in other countries as well. But so we decided to build our own version of it. And today I want to share with you the story of how it all started and where we are now. So to tell you the story, we will have to go back in time about a year and a half to the summer of 2021, where a new board was elected for EA Estonia, myself included in that board. And as you can see, I'm in this photo the only one without the Effective Altruism merch, a mistake I have corrected by now. But anyways, we rented this farm building in the middle of nowhere in Estonia to work on our strategy, to hold a strategy meeting for the upcoming year. And I attended that strategy meeting with full knowledge that I will become the next event and community manager of EA Estonian's Tallinn branch. And I left that meeting with a completely new role as donations lead of EA Estonia with a plan and intention to start building a donation platform, an idea that we had been talking about before, but that hadn't really formalized into a clear action plan. But that happened there. So in the summer of 2021, we had the idea, but I had no idea where to start, basically. I had never done anything like that before. I was thinking of becoming or pursuing a career in academia, and this was a completely new endeavor for me. But I did, and as did many others, we thought of this as a really high, like a really big potential of having this, like building this to have really great impact. So I was really excited to start working on it as soon as possible. The first idea, or the first thing that we had to figure out was to make sure that the donations that we do collect will be tax deductible, because this was seen as one of the biggest goals for the platform, so that people could direct their donations to effective nonprofits and have their donations be tax deductible. I started discussions with the Estonian tax office to see what opportunities we had. And at first, it seemed like things were not so great because it turned out that in Estonia, you can only make tax-deductible donations to organizations outside Estonia if they are registered in the European Economic Area. And as many effective altruism organizations are registered, for example, in the UK or in the US, this seems to be a really big problem. Fortunately, the Dutch EAs had previously gone through the work of getting these effective nonprofits approved by the Dutch government, basically, to get these ANBI number. So basically, this means that these organizations are also have like a legal entity in the Netherlands. And this was good enough for our tax office. So basically, thanks to the work of the Dutch, we managed to get this approved also in Estonia. The next step was that we needed the actual website. And I didn't know how to build a website, so I contacted our website developer wizard, Andre, sitting over there, who works in Sparkwave as a software engineer and who had also built the EA Estonia website. And when I approached him, his reaction was, finally, let's do this. So he was really excited to get on board. And we started building this quite fast. And we didn't actually have a lot of time because our aim was to get it launched by December. Because as any fundraiser knows, December is a really good time for fundraising, and we seemed like this is something that can actually be done. One of the things that I think I'm really kind of happy about, and I think that thanks to Andre's skills and also thanks to some luck, we managed to build this website quite like user-friendly and professional looking from the start. So for example, one of the things is that the website has pretty good SEO. So if you, for example, Google the word donate in Estonia, it pops up in Google quite high. And as I mentioned, we also had some luck. So when we try to find ways of how we could actually make it as easy as possible for the donors to do the donation. It seemed like the best idea would be not to like direct them to the non-profits' websites, but to do this directly via Anneta Targelt website. And for that, we needed a service provider for the payment. And we approached one service provider called Montonia, which is a Lithuanian-based company. And as we approached them, they actually said that they will allow us to use their service for free. So that means that 100% of donations that are given through Anneta Targalt don't have any transaction costs. Here is just a visual of when you go to Anneta Targalt and you make a donation, you are then directed to this page where you can choose your bank, and then you are basically going to the bank's website and you can finalize the payment. And a similar thing is done for recurring donations, where you are directed to your bank, basically your bank's website, and some of the things are already pre-filled, where you basically just have to sign this with your ID card or your mobile ID. So it's pretty easy and fast. Going back to the timeline, one of the things that we had to work on early on was the name of the platform. What are we going to call it? There were already a few examples, as I mentioned, in the Netherlands, in Norway, that used the word effective in their name. Well, it makes a lot of sense. We are an effective altruism-aligned project. But in Estonian, the word effective, and especially effective giving, sounds like really technical and quite foreign. And we actually wanted this to be something that is not 100% effective altruism related in a way that we see that there's a lot of people who may be really excited about the idea to give more effectively and to, you know, think about the impact of their donations, but they do not necessarily subscribe to all of the ideas of effective altruism or that effective altruism comes with. So we wanted a different name, and the name Anneta Targelt, meaning donate wisely. So the word wisely seemed to be a really good fit because there's lots of like brands or slogans used in Estonia in different contexts that use the same do something wisely thing. So for example, consume wisely or travel wisely, and it seems like something that the wider audience would also be familiar with. So we chose to go with Donate Wisely, or Anneta Targelt. And at first, we decided to only include GiveWell's organizations on the platform, mainly because we thought that starting with the cause area of global health and well-being was basically the easiest to start with. For then, and also as of now, we only have GiveWell recommended charities listed on Anneta Targalt. But then, on December 13th, we finally launched Anneta Targalt along with the Christmas campaign or fundraising campaign. And it wasn't a big campaign that we did. It was mostly on social media, although we did also write a press release about the event. But one really exciting thing that happened after we had already started collecting some donations was that an entrepreneur in Estonia decided to donate $100,000 via Anneta Targalt, which was a huge success for us. I've now told you a story of how Anneta Targalt was started, but now let's get to today. What is Anneta Targalt right now? So as of April 2023, we have now raised 220,000 euros in total. And the website, this is what it looks like right now. It is, some of the things may be a little bit similar if you've seen the Swedish or the previous Norwegian GiveWell website or the current GiveWell for Sweden. So for example, the logo is the same and the structure of the website is quite similar. And I think this is something that I think we have been pretty good doing, is that like not reinventing the wheel, but rather kind of trying to see what the best practices there are already that others have done and integrating that into our own existing platform. So one example is here. So previously we used to just have like a text box for people to decide where to allocate their donation. But now, like Giving What We Can does, we use these sliders where people can decide the percentage of where their donation should go or to which charity. And as the most recent addition, people can also now donate to us. So we are still 100% volunteer-based project. So we don't get paid. We don't collect donations to fund our work. However, there are some costs, of course, that come with this kind of work. So we decided to add this opportunity to the website. Another great thing that we took over from GiveWell is the impact calculator. So we found that this is a really nice interactive tool that donors and potential donors can play with, where they enter any sum or donation sum, and they can see what the estimated impact of their donation could be, depending on which charity they directed this donation to. And actually, at the end of last year, to all our recurring donors, we set a kind of like a summary of their yearly donations, and also did this estimated impact calculations for them, and got really positive feedback for that. So people really like to see these like concrete numbers behind their donations. I see that there's a question, but yeah, thank you. All right. And another thing that is probably familiar to you if you've used the Giving, or if you've been to the Giving What We Can website, is the How Rich Are You calculator, which we also added to our website. And I think this is something that is really important, especially in Eastern European regions. For example, in Estonia, I think a lot of people still have this perception that we are really poor. And this makes sense because for some time we did used to be poor compared to Western Europe or Northern Europe. Like, I remember growing up and going to McDonald's was like going to a fancy restaurant because it was quite expensive to do that. But ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union, we have had tremendous economic progress, and Estonia is a really wealthy country now. But a lot of people still kind of don't think of or a lot of Estonians don't think of themselves as rich. So we really do think that the information like this, even though it can be a little bit confronting for people whose beliefs are still in, or who still kind of believe that they themselves perhaps are not in a position to help other people, but we think it's important to get that message out there. So this is something that we plan to use in our communication strategy in the future, definitely more. And also some numbers of Anneta Targelt today. So this is the total amount of donations we've collected so far. This is to keep in mind is that we have had a few really large donors, so there's still a lot of work to be done to actually get this message or kind of popularize the idea of effective giving in the wider audience, because a large chunk of these donations come from a few people who have made really large contributions. Excluding some of these outliers, the average donation sum is 82 euros with a median of 20 euros. And the average donation per donor, again excluding these few outliers, is 410 euros, which is, just for context, 80% of Estonian donors donate less than 100 euros a year. So compared to that, I think we can be pretty happy about that number. And as for preference, where to direct the donation, more than 80% of Anneta Targelt's donations, or donations to Anneta Targelt, go to GiveWell's top charities fund. And now, what lies ahead in the future? As I said, we have had a few entrepreneurs who have used Anneta Targelt to direct their donations to effective charities, but I think there's a lot of potential to more proactively look for more entrepreneurs and high impact, high net worth individuals to kind of form a strategy of how to actually approach them. So we see that these are kind of like two different branches of activities. So one is kind of getting this message out there for the wider audience, and another one is kind of directing it to specific people. As I said, we only have GiveWell's organizations listed on the website right now, but we do want to add more cause areas and more organizations, since we do know that our donors would like to see a bigger or more opportunities for cause areas to choose from. And you can only do so much as a volunteer. So we definitely do see that there's a lot of potential for Anneta Targalt if we applied for funding and could actually hire a full-time or even a part-time employee to dedicate more hours to it, because yes, basically, as I was yesterday, went to talk by Kari from GiveWell, and it's amazing what they have accomplished now, and they have become from volunteer to professional. So this is something that we are really excited about as well. And also, we see that there's value in doing more collaboration with the local nonprofit sector. So here is just an example that of a video that was made by the Estonian version of Giving Tuesday event, where I was invited to talk about the positive psychological benefits of making donations or pro-social behavior in general. But we do think that there's value in kind of proactively looking for these opportunities to do more collaboration with the local charity sector, to kind of get this message for to more people out there. And our main lessons, I think this is something that is really important, because, as I said in the beginning, that I started this without having any idea of how to do this, and had quite many fears, because this did seem like this really big thing to work on. But I mean, you have to start somewhere, and I think it doesn't only apply to if you want to build a platform like this. I think it applies to a lot of things, and it's like a general life lesson. But yeah, so don't let these fears or thoughts that you have maybe don't have the right skill set or enough knowledge to do something. So don't let it stop you. Secondly, I think prioritizing is super important, because especially if you're a volunteer, then you're never going to have enough time or energy to do the 100 or 1,000 things that you have planned for. So kind of trying to find these places to put your effort in, and making sure that these are the best places to put your effort in is really important. Like, for example, with our team, we have been thinking about places where we could have the biggest impact in kind of building this platform, but also doing this by doing something that doesn't require too many hours from us. So, for example, finding the right podcast to go visit and to talk about these ideas with the right kind of audience, or approaching the right kind of people. And also, finding and working with great people is key. So we are now a team of four people, and 3 of them are in this room. So Andri, Lisa, and Elise. And it has been a joy working with them. And yeah, so this is also, I think, proof that you don't have to have this large team to build something like that. You can only have a few people, but still achieve something pretty cool. So thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you so much, Sille. That was so helpful. Any questions, guys? Any? Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah, thank you very much for the talk. 2 questions that are connected. You said that 80% are going to GiveWell charities, but where's the money going if you only offer GiveWell charities at the moment?
Yeah, just to clarify.
Or maybe I missed it.
Top Charities Fund. So this means that they don't pick a specific non-profit where to direct. Yeah, they just let the GiveWell's experts decide.
Yeah, and how are you planning on choosing the next charities that will be available on your page for donors to choose from?
Yeah, so basically, we are also, as I said, that we really don't think that we are in a position, or we don't have the capacity to start our own research, or to kind of try to come up with a new way of evaluating charities or something like that. So we are going to use the recommendations of giving what we can, most probably.
All right, I think the other team is waiting now, so maybe we can move our discussion to the Colonnade now. And thank you so much, Sille, for delivering this. And you guys can see Sille again in the Colonnade. Thanks a lot.